So, let me tell you about Shekhar Natarajan. This is a leader who literally went from the slums of India to the boardrooms of places like Walmart, Pepsi, and even Disney. But this isn't just another rags to riches story. Nope. This is about his radical, and I mean radical, vision for technology, a vision that was born from one single powerful experience, the feeling of being invisible. All right, let's just jump right in with the question that's on pretty much everyone's mind right now. We are smack in the middle of a massive AI gold rush. You see companies like NVIDIA hitting these insane trillion-dollar valuations. But is all this growth for real? Is it sustainable? Or is this whole thing just a bubble that's waiting to pop? Well, Shekhar Natarajan looks at all this hype and says, hold on, something is fundamentally wrong here. He's got this term for it, a circular money loop. Think about it. The tech giants are pouring money into startups, and then those startups turn right around and use that cash to buy chips from, you guessed it, those same tech giants. But Shekhar's asking a bigger question. Are we even building the right stuff for the right problems? He thinks we might just be pumping billions of dollars into the wrong things entirely. Now, to really get why he sees the world this way, we have to go back, way back, to the very beginning. His critique of these billion-dollar companies, it's not just some business school analysis. No, it's rooted in a deep, powerful lesson he learned during his childhood. You know, when we think about poverty, what's the first thing that comes to mind? For most of us, it's a lack of food, a lack of money, an empty, rolling stomach. But for Shekhar, that's just scratching the surface. He argues that the true core experience of poverty is something else completely. He says poverty is about being invisible. It's that feeling of people looking right through you, like you don't even exist. Think about that phrase, being a ghost in your own life. That feeling, that exact problem, became the central mission that drives him today, figuring out how technology can make people visible again. So growing up in that environment gave him this unique kind of education. It wasn't just about hardship. He calls it a curriculum. First, it taught him deep, genuine empathy for other people. Second, it gave him a fire, a sheer will to say, I will do this, I will overcome. And third, it gave him a relentless hunger to get out of that context. These three things, empathy, fire, and hunger, they've shaped his entire approach to life and to business ever since. And this whole idea of invisibility, it's not just some philosophical concept for him. Oh no, it's a very real, very tragic problem he ran into head-on during his time at Walmart. The story of a woman named Margaret is just a heartbreaking example of how our modern systems can completely fail to see the actual person standing right in front of them. So Margaret was 78 years old. After she paid her rent every month, she had exactly $200 left. That's it. And that $200 had to cover everything else: food, electricity, and the heart medication that she desperately needed to survive. Just let that number sink in. That's the razor's edge she was living on. Okay, so here's the breakdown of how the system completely failed her. Margaret couldn't afford her full prescription, so she would stretch her pills, ration them. But every Tuesday, she'd run low, have a panic attack, and end up in the emergency room. The hospital system just saw the data and flagged her as a frequent flyer. Then her insurance company's algorithm saw those frequent claims, and you know what it did? It hiked her rates. This, of course, made her medication even more unaffordable. And tragically, she passed away. And here's the crazy part. Every single system, the hospital, the insurance company, was working exactly as it was designed to. It was optimizing its own metrics, it flagged a pattern, it made a data-driven decision. But in that whole process, the human being at the center of it all, Margaret, was completely and totally lost. They all saw data points. Not a single one saw a person who was in desperate need of help. Margaret's story is the why. It's the reason behind Shekhar's new mission. It's a direct response to a world where these powerful algorithms are unintentionally or not making people invisible. He believes we need a fundamentally different kind of intelligence, and he calls it Angelic Intelligence. Now, the purpose here isn't to replace humans or build some super brain. The goal is to mimic what good humans do, to show empathy, to understand the context, to see the whole person. The goal isn't just efficiency. It's about restoring dignity and making the invisible visible again. Let's break this down side by side, because the difference is massive. Traditional AI, what we have now, is all about efficiency. Its method is probabilistic. It's making guesses based on tons and tons of data. Its focus is the data itself.
Angelic Intelligence, on the other hand, aims for dignity. Its method is contextual, relying on observation, asking what is really happening here, not just what does the data predict. It's a huge shift from just optimizing systems to truly understanding people. So, what does this all mean for us, for you and me, trying to navigate this increasingly automated world? Well, Shekhar has some really clear advice on how to stay human and stay in control. He boils it down to three key things. First, you have to be digitally strong. You need to understand how these tools work so you can actually harness them. Second, and this one is so important, don't outsource your mind. Use AI as a tool for sure, but do not let it do your thinking for you. I mean, go ask a chatbot the same question twice, you'll probably get two different answers. You have to trust your own brain. And finally, set your intentions. Know your why. Whether it's helping your family or solving a huge global problem, having a clear purpose, that will create its own path. And that really brings us to the final thought here. The story of Margaret, this idea of angelic intelligence, it's not just about tech. It's really about perspective. It asks every single one of us to look around and consider who in our own lives, in our communities, in our workplaces, who has been made invisible by a system, and what can we do to truly finally see them